In one of the first videos I made for this channel, I talked about the T-Rex Replicator, which is really, really wonderful cassette-based tape echo pedal. And I said this.
One of my absolute bucket list pieces of gear is the Roland RE201. I don't think I'll ever own one because they just keep getting more and more expensive, but oh man, I could just... God, I want one of those.
I've wanted a Roland RE201 Space Echo since I was about 14. It just exemplifies everything that I love about audio hardware, the electromechanical element, the physical manipulation of sound. I love the sound of the tape motors. I love the sound of real spring reverb. I love the vintage warble. What I don't love as much is the cost of maintenance, the frequency of maintenance, and the inherent unreliability that comes with 50-year-old hardware. But that is where this comes in. This is the ECHOFIX EF-X2, and it's a modern answer to Roland's RE201 Space Echo, made by people who have made a living repairing those old classics. The EF-X2 is a real tape echo, as in sound goes in, it is recorded to a tape via a record head, and that tape loop then carries that sound around over a series of playback heads that give us our echoes. And the sound of the echo, so to speak, or the pattern or the kind of distribution of that echo is set by the distribution of those heads and which ones we enable and disable using the knob on the front. The EF-X2 also has a fantastic, lovely built-in real spring reverb and then a DSP reverb and chorus that you can switch between if those are kind of more appropriate for you. The preamp stages in the ECHOFIX are FET preamps, so much the same as your RE201 or your Echoplex, famously used by people like Dave Gilmour and Jimmy Page, so yeah, just small names. I have got a Strat just here, so let's flick through those different delay modes and have a listen to what happens as we switch on and off those different heads, and it produces these different patterns of echo for us. Just going to switch off the motors and the echo so we just get that spring reverb. The tape will stop, and now we're just going to get that lovely spring. We can turn up the reverb volume. It's maxed out. And we can turn up the decay time as well. think we'll just have a play with that EQ as well. So if I just crank the treble, this is only going to affect the repeats. So I'm just going to turn the motors and the echo back on. Let's have a quick play with the EQ. And we'll have a play with that feedback as well to just control the number of repeats. We can bring the feedback right down. Back in the middle. Get more of those repeats, and you can actually push it into self-oscillation as well. Just get it on the edge. You can hear you getting an awful lot of repeats going on, and then if we crank it all the way up, it will feed back on itself. As I mentioned in my video on the replicator, there is an absolute magic to real physical tape that I've never had with kind of emulations of the same before. It never treads on your playing. You're never clashing with the delay. It's always just subtly underneath you, lifting you up in just the most beautiful, occasionally warbly, vaguely saturated kind of way. And it's absolutely wonderful. It really, really is. And that's only going to get more delicious as that tape loop ages. Now, ECHOFIX says that the tape loops should last about a year, and you do get an extra one included with the unit. I am still waiting on a Kenton MIDI to CV converter for the MS-20. So for now, we're going to have to tolerate my terrible keyboard playing. But with that said, this thing sounds incredible on so many different sources. So I think we'll try some synth sounds. The ECHOFIX is absolutely glorious. Owning a Space Echo has been like a bucket list thing for me since I was 14, as I said earlier, and I still can't quite believe I've been able to swing this. They are expensive. I sold the vast majority of my pedals and then financed the rest through Anderton's to be able to pay for this. But I don't regret it. I don't regret it. I still can't quite believe I own one. It's a privilege, and it is something that is not lost on me. I'm feeling very lucky. They are expensive, as I said. I think it's also larger than I expected it to be, which might sound ridiculous, but I've never even seen a Space Echo in the flesh until this turned up in the box. So it is larger than I thought it would be. I think it is glorious and it is expensive. If you are a homebody like me and you primarily make music in the studio and all that sort of stuff, then definitely check one out if it's within your budget, because it really is top of the pile, I think. If it's not within your budget, or especially if you're going to be going out and you're going to be playing live and you're going to be taking it places and doing things with it, that T-Rex replicator in all of its various forms is still fantastic. It still holds up, and I think if you're looking for a real tape, something that you have to do maybe a bit less maintenance on, as I've only had this for about a week, so, you know, fingers crossed. But I had the replicator for a few years and I didn't have to do anything. It was just bomb-proof and it was fantastic and it sounded great the entire time. Like I say, if you're going to be taking it around, something you can put on your pedal board is going to be a winner. Thank you so much for watching. I really, really do appreciate it. Sound off in the comments and let's talk about echo and delay. What's your favourite kind of delay type? You know, you've got tape, analog, digital, vintage digital now is a thing. Let's have a chat about that. I had to sell, as I said, a lot of my pedals to be able to kind of fund the ECHOFIX, so I might be able to check out a few of your recommendations. Thanks again. I'll see you next time.